former First Lady of America, Michelle Obama, has finally spoken out after a racist video targeting her and former President Barack Obama, depicting them as apes.
We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hard-working, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black. Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
Michelle said that the video wasn't just an insult to her or Barack Obama personally, but a direct hatred toward black people. She said such imagery taps into long-standing racist tropes and reflects a broader problem in society. It's totally unacceptable that black people are portrayed as animals. While reacting to the video, President Trump himself has declared he didn't notice that a video shared on social media contained a racist video of Barack and Michelle Obama as monkeys.
Who sent it, and are you going to fire them?
I looked at it, I saw it, and I just looked at the first part. It was about voter fraud in someplace, Georgia. There was a lot of voter fraud, 2020 voter fraud, and I didn't see the whole thing. I guess during the end of it, there was some kind of a picture that people don't like. I wouldn't like it either, but I didn't see it. I looked at the first part, and it was really about voter fraud and the machines, how crooked it is, how disgusting it is. Then I gave it to the people. Generally, they'd look at the whole thing, but I guess somebody didn't. And they posted, and we took it down, and we did it. But that was a voter fraud.
President Donald Trump said during an interview with the National Association of Black Journalists in Chicago, "I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country." Further, he said he will do his best for black Americans.
The black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money, they were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said you can't do it with Zoom.
This video posting was removed shortly after its posting. The White House stated that a staff member had erroneously posted this video. President Trump was asked about this error, but he would not apologize. Instead, he stated, "I did not make a mistake."
Post. We took it down as soon as we found out about it.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans are calling on you to apologize for that post. Is that something you're going to do?
No, I didn't make a mistake. I mean, I look at at a lot of thousands of things. I looked at the beginning of it, it was fine. And they had that one post, and I guess it was a takeoff. By the way, a lot of people covered, if you look at where it came from, I guess it was a takeoff on the Lion King. And certainly it was a very strong post in terms of voter fraud. Nobody knew that was at the end. If they would have looked, they would have seen it. And probably they would have had the sense to take it down. But that was a takeoff on the Lion King. And a lot of people were covered on in different positions. So.
The video shows Trump, who is shown in lion's share form, while Hillary Clinton, depicted as a warthog, and Mayor Zohran Mamdani, former Democrat chair and New York mayor. There is a lot to say about what he wants to show us. In a recent update, Michelle Obama spoke out about Donald Trump's presidency and how she feels he has made a lot of bad choices, acted recklessly, and has been a poor leader as president. She went on to say that not only have his actions been politically harmful to the country, but they have also been harmful because they show a lack of good judgment and show that he did not respect the office of the president or the people of America.
See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hard-working, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black. Wait. I want to know. Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt defended the clip before it was deleted, saying, "Please stop the fake outrage." Leavitt said it was from an internet meme that depicted Trump as king of the jungle, while Democrats were shown as characters from The Lion King. Trump's clip did not include any of the longer video Leavitt referred to, which also includes other Democrats, such as Rep. Renelin.
The White House is now claiming the post was a mistake by a staffer, but the video was shared on Donald Trump's Truth Social page for almost 12 hours before it was taken down. The clip, reiterating false claims about the 2020 election, ended with an animation showing former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes. The video sparking outrage from both sides of politics, but initially the White House defended the post, saying this is from an internet meme video depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King. Please stop the fake outrage. The meme video showing President Trump as a lion was posted last year, but the clip shared by the president only included imagery of the Obamas, who haven't commented on them.
The use of the racist trope that has depicted black people as being equivalent to apes or animals has historically been used for the dehumanization of black people and to justify slavery. The backlash against Trump and his post was immediate and included several individuals who would normally identify as being in support of him. People all over the world are criticizing Trump's post and hate towards black people. Let's see this report.
Of former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama depicted with the bodies of apes. Republican Senator Tim Scott wrote that it was, quote, the most racist thing he has seen from the White House. Maryland Governor Wes Moore calling it blatant racism, saying it relied on imagery long used to demean and dehumanize black people. The White House initially dismissed the backlash as, quote, fake outrage, but later said a White House staffer mistakenly posted that video.
Numerous people in the field of diplomacy, ranging from ambassadors to heads of state and internationally recognized public figures, reacted with anger to Trump's tweet. They condemned it as not only racist, but also as a disgusting and utterly unacceptable display of hate. Historical precedents indicate that images depicting African Americans in this manner have often been used to dehumanize them. Therefore, use of that image in any format is unacceptable in any public forum or by any person with a position of authority.
Lawmakers. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries said the Obamas are brilliant, compassionate, and patriotic Americans. They represent the best of this country. Donald Trump is a vile, unhinged, and malignant bottom feeder. Republican Senator Roger Wicker. This is totally unacceptable. The president should take it down and apologize. And this from Senator Tim Scott, praying it was fake because it's the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt initially defended the actions of her boss. This is from an internet meme video depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King. Please stop the fake outrage and report on something today that actually matters to the American public.
Trump went on to insist that he was the least racist president you've had in a long time. Trump has a history of making racist remarks toward black people and other people of color. For years, he pushed the false narrative that Obama was not born in the U.S., and he has previously used derogatory language to describe African countries. He also falsely claimed former Vice President Kamala Harris turned black during the presidential campaign. Harris identifies as black and Indian American. Critics said that Trump's post, an AI-altered video depicting Barack Obama, was a deliberate attempt to distract the public from the ongoing Epstein investigations, with Trump claiming it was merely about voter fraud and that he hadn't seen the offensive imagery.
Last night, President Trump's Justice Department said that it is not a crime to party with Epstein. You had years to come up with an excuse, and that's what you went with? No. If someone said that to you at a Super Bowl party, you would slowly back away and call the police. Trump was like, partying with Epstein doesn't make me a criminal. No. The 34 criminal convictions do. And that's... Yeah, they said that it's not a crime to party with Jeffrey Epstein, which is pretty much like saying it's not a crime to have brunch with Jeffrey Dahmer.
The White House claims that there is no crime for associating with Jeffrey Epstein based on this reasoning. Critics of this claim argue that this reasoning undermines the seriousness of being associated with known predators and demonstrates a chilling acceptance of and normalization of actions that most would view as unacceptable.
You know, hey, this chicken finger has a ring on. Whoa! Hey! Get this. Get this. Today, Trump said that he's suing Harvard for $1 billion in damages. Yeah, but just in case he doesn't get it, he's also suing Cornell as his safety school. It's not a fair fight when Harvard's lawyers went to Harvard Law and Trump's lawyers went to 1-800-LAWYER. You know?
In order to distract from his breathtaking failures, former President Obama said Trump was morally wrong for taking actions that intimidate voters and for lying about how minorities would destroy the suburbs. What the president is doing is once again patently false, it's morally wrong, and yes, it is racist, said the 56-year-old wife of Barack Obama, the first black U.S. president from 2009 to 2016. But, she warned, such tactics have the potential to work, particularly because Americans lack the time and energy to fact-check everything being spread online or in the U.S. media. U.S. President Donald Trump says black people love Trump, and because of them, he is president now.
Let me tell you, black people love Trump. I got the biggest vote.
I got the biggest vote with black people. They know a scam better than anybody. They know what it is to be scammed. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. We did great. Thank you. I like this guy.
Eddie Glaude, a professor at Princeton University, stated that President Trump is a racist and has been influenced by a white nationalist agenda during his presidency, and specifically that he consistently uses the same particular venom against blacks and black communities intentionally.
Where we have to just simply concede that Donald Trump is a racist and that white nationalists occupy the executive branch of the U.S. government. We know who Donald Trump is. The evidence has been in for a while. The American people who voted for him knew who he was, know who he is. The only difference in this moment is his use of brazen use of old tropes of an era that was engaged in overt cruelty. And so we know who he is. And I think it's important for us to understand that to identify him as a racist, to identify the agenda as a white nationalist agenda, is not to deny the greed, it's not to deny the grift and corruption, but it's to understand a pillar of what holds this administration up. And so on the 100th anniversary of Black History Month and Negro History Week, here we are still grappling with the demons of the nation that threaten to choke the life out of this fragile experience.
Janai Nelson, president and director counsel of the Legal Defense Fund, indicated that President Trump's attempt to distract from his actions, to target others, and dehumanize individuals normalizes hate and reinforces systemic injustice. They both stated that this incident demonstrates America continues to struggle with race, that black history must be taught in schools beyond state recognition, and that if we want to uphold a multiracial democratic society with justice and decency.
Well, I think we all know that he does a lot to distract. He does a lot to feed red meat to his base of followers. And I think that's exactly what this was. This was an attempt to be silly, to dehumanize, to ostracize, to minimize the accomplishments of Black people in particular. You know, he has a particular venom that he reserves for Black people and Black communities, that he deploys when he feels desperate, when he feels like he cannot rise to the occasion, when he's confronting, in particular, people who defy everything that this country wants us to believe about Black people that is negative. And you cannot assail the Obamas on any front. Certainly he can't. There is no comparison.
Janai Nelson said that Donald Trump's behavior, including the recent racist video targeting Barack and Michelle Obama, cannot go unnoticed or become normalized. She states that Trump has a special brand of hate directed at Black people, including Black female journalists, the Central Park Five, and historically, any Black person who has spoken out against him. She explains that he is doing this on purpose and he is doing harm to the community around him, that attempts to placate the Black community by doing something superficial do not erase the disrespect and hurt that he has caused.
Right? We cannot become numb to this. We cannot normalize it. We cannot come to accept the fact that there is a person occupying the White House who is abusing government property and abusing this system to denigrate Black people and many others. We cannot stand for that and act as if it's business as usual. As much as we know it is frequent from him, it is his want to do this, we just cannot normalize it. At the same time, we cannot be distracted by so many other atrocities that are happening at his behest.
Reverend Al Sharpton, president of the National Action Network, claims that since Trump's political ascension has included racially targeting Black people, utilizing racist stereotypes, and undermining civil rights, he is using the president's office to degrade Black people and other marginalized groups.
Raised in your buildup, something that's very important. People need to understand Donald Trump began his political career with racism. I mean, we fought with him in New York for many years, marched on him when he called for the execution of 5 young men who were falsely accused of raping a white woman. was found guilty of discrimination in housing. But when he decided he wanted to be Democrat sometime, would go to social events with all of us, he decided to enter politics by saying Barack Obama is not one of us. The racial overtones, undertones, whatever way you want to call it, is how he entered the political arena. So we're only seeing the manifestation of what he said it was all along. He won the White House with us against them.
Sharpton criticized that developing a level of social acceptance is unacceptable for any person, particularly the president, using the power of government to portray black people and other marginalized groups as no better than animals. Sharpton accuses corporations and their executives of complicity in the systemic element they benefit from at the hands of the Trump administration. Sharpton also poses several questions regarding why corporations and executives who participate in benefiting from the Trump administration do not condemn the president's practices.
Ran an administration, don't forget in his first term is when we went through George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, all of that, he was president and did nothing about it other than to go in front of a church across the street from the White House and said, when the shooting starts, the looting starts, the shooting starts, and threaten the protesters. So it's like full circle. Now we see, in the beginning of Black History Month, 2026, the President of the United States puts out a depiction of the former President and First Lady who raised the hopes of many in this nation that we had crossed some line and made some advancement as a society, and he comes with something that only the Confederate President Jefferson Davis would have done if there was Twitter then. And there's no way around this. When Tim Scott would even denounce him, and you can't get a public apology, and somebody, if you claim somebody in the White House did it, how does someone have access to what the president can put out?
Trump's fellow Republicans in Congress have expressed worries that they will not be able to retain their slim majorities in both the House and Senate in November's election. The NAACP, in a post on X, said, Trump posting this video, especially during Black History Month, is a stark reminder of how Trump and his followers truly view people, and we'll remember that in November. During Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, he made many promises to Black Americans regarding how he would serve as their president. He echoed negative and toxic messages to Black Americans at the National Association of Black Journalists event and reiterated false statements about himself being the best president for Black Americans since Abraham Lincoln. Trump followed up with similar statements about the fear of immigrants taking Black jobs, a conspiracy theory proven false to drive a wedge between Black Americans and the immigrant community. His team provided policy ideas for Black Americans based on his actual policies of dealing with inflation and job security. However, at the halfway point in his second term as president, we can see how Trump's policies are hurting middle-class Black Americans and represent an attack on the Black middle class. Americans' struggles with these facts is clear. Leadership must have accountability for actions that degrade individuals, their communities, or the multiracial democratic value system within the United States, including the president. Progress will not happen without constant vigilance, education, and the willingness to confront all forms of injustice.